Hiya, Amy here with Amy's Wares, and today's video is actually all about my craft space. So many of you have asked for several years now to do a tour of my craft room, and I was a little bit reluctant because it was a bit of a hodgepodge and not really a functional space. So as a very big birthday present to myself, I have kind of revamped my craft room. I've done some updates throughout the room and gotten really functional pieces to store my crafty goodies. So that's what I'm going to share with you today. First of all, I'll pan around to give you an idea of the layout of the room, and then I'm going to go to all the specific drawers and let you have a little look-see on how I have it organized. So I don't know if it'll stay this way long term, but so far so good, and I hope you enjoy this. So thanks for sticking around. I'll just chat with you guys as we do a little walk around the room to give you an idea of the layout. Here's the wonderful desk that my husband made me. You can see I kind of have different areas, different stations, if you will, throughout the craft space. I have my gorgeous distress oxides. I have some inspiration on these cute shelves from Ikea. I'll tell you more about that wall. Basically, I'll give you a more detailed version as we go along, and I'll go into the specifics with how I have everything organized. But just going to come up and show you a little bit closer into this space. The labels, the cards, my beautiful wall floral display. This Calyx unit is awesome. I have so much stuff stored in here. You can see I have that cart. I didn't mention that in the video. I actually brought that back in because it was such a perfect match with the purple, and I had it in there before. It's actually empty, so I have room to grow. I have some empty spots. And ultimately, the main changes we made in this room, we did paint the door white. We changed it all to white trim. We changed the light fixture and basically all the furniture except for the desk. So first of all, I'm going to show you my pen area and my blending brush area. I have a lot of my different blending brushes that you see me often use. I have the ones for my dye inks, my distress oxides, my watercolor brushes, some extra brushes, and my mini brushes. I have some water brush pens, acrylic markers, a plethora of Sharpies, because you know you can never have too many of those. This is how I store my Copics. This is kind of a new way of storing it. I did used to have it in a bit of a carrying case that I could bring around with me, which was nice, but I do find that I'm grabbing for them a little bit more frequently, having them right here next to my desk. I do have the few re-inkers that I have in the bottom here. I don't know if they'll stay there long term, and then various other gel pens and other things like that. And here, one other thing I wanted to show you with regard to my Copics. I have this hex chart. This is from Sandy Allnock. I definitely recommend this. This is a great resource to figure out what colors you have of your Copics. It'll help you with purchasing them. You'll find a lot of them are very similar. So I found that this really helped me not overbuy Copics that were very similar to what I already had. So I keep this here. I have various other little swatch things ready to go for different pens and different ink pads and things like that. So I've just got it on a little command hook, but this is super helpful to have right here next to my Copics. Now here, this space, while functional, is not the prettiest, but I'm going to show you, this is where a lot of my other craft supplies live. This area over here specifically is for my daughter. She's very crafty, very creative. She's into polymer clay, as am I. I do some jewelry, I do some vinyl work, I make t-shirts. Up here you can see I have all of my Colorful Life Designs notebooks here. I have my critter book, my sentiment book, my sentiment labels, other dies, stencils. Over here I have various jewelry things like beads, fabric. I have down here, I have some yarn and ribbon and things that I might not use all that often. So I feel okay kind of, you know, closing this up when I don't need it. So it looks prettier, but it's also accessible. Like here, to show you, I have the papers that I use the most often right behind me because my workspace is right across from this. So I may grab my blingage here. And I have some paper scraps. This is kind of a new addition. Actually having white paper scraps ready to go, I find that I use them a lot more often. My accent opaque, some 80-pound Nina, my artist tack. So all the things that I'm grabbing for often. Here's some more blingage up here. These are all things that I keep close to me. Otherwise, the other things in here, maybe not so much. It's more storage. Now, this space I am very excited about. This is an Ikea Billy bookcase. I opted to get the ones with the 2 drawers on the bottom because I felt like it just broke it up and it gave me some space that I could close off for maybe not so pretty items. Here you can see I've got a mix of items. I have some random stamps, wooden stamps. I have papers, envelopes, specialty like photo paper, sheet protectors. And the bottom left here is actually like my label machine. So this is a nice area that I can kind of just close up that doesn't need to be visible. Now all of these I jumped on the clear refrigerator bin train like everybody else, but they are very nice. I love that you can see the full stamp set or the die set right through it. I have them sectioned off. I haven't labeled the bins yet, but I kind of know what they are. These are background. You know, I have sentiments, critters, floral, things like that. I have some smaller bins for my smaller stamp sets. These are all of my, I'll show you all my ridiculous obsession. These are almost all to new 3D embossing folders. You guys know I love them. This is how much I love them. So you can see this. Got all these here. This is a bit heavy. Might be a little too heavy for someone to have on the top shelf. For me it works, but yeah, that could be a little iffy. These are regular embossing folders, so not 3D. I have those in a smaller bin. And then here I have, this is kind of a work in progress, different dies. My word dies, which you guys know I tend to just kind of pull out and then fill up my sentiment binder with, so I don't really need them accessible. And then also maybe some other dies that I'm more likely to grab too. But that's kind of a work in progress. Check back on that, on how I finally figure out how to organize it. Here I have some rubber stamps and things like that. So that is my stamp area. Okay, this beauty here is a 4x4 calyx unit that, as you can see, if you're familiar with Ikea, I have put various different inserts in to kind of break up the square spaces. I really am happy so far with this. I feel like it's worked really well. I didn't want to be in a situation where I wasn't utilizing the full cubby. So I feel like these insert options really help you utilize the full opening of the unit. This is one of my favorites so far. If you guys ever wonder how many cards I tend to have ready to go, these are all finished cards. And I did make little categories here to separate them, and I have them all in little plastic mailers. I do reuse these, so if I send out a card, I hang onto this, I don't throw it out, and I use it again because I don't want to waste that much plastic. So this is just various different categories. Those are all cards that are ready to go. I do have these kind of resting on the lip here. I find that this insert will shift around a little bit, so just bear that in mind if you're going to get a unit like this. These are all items that I haven't used yet. I know, shameful. These are little notepads with maybe card ideas or various other things. One of them I actually had a bunch of everybody's birthdays written down in throughout the years, and I used to kind of go through and like delegate. So I haven't used that method. I tend to usually use my Google Calendar now, but that's one of those notebooks. Now on these, I have specialty glitter papers or like metallic cardstock in this little section. This is my adhesive backed foam sheets that you guys will see me use when I pop up die cuts. This is a fun little addition here. These are my little scraps. So I'm trying to consciously use up my scraps, whether it's white cardstock or colored cardstock or pattern paper. So having that there for me to reach for to see if I have a piece that works for my project has been very helpful. Now this, along the same lines, these are just various different colored plastic, two-sided folders, and I have paper scraps in these. So like warm colors. The orange, I actually have browns, but I kind of tried to match the color to, I don't know why pink's in there, but you get the idea. I tried to kind of match the color of the folder to the color of the scraps, and then I can grab for these if I'm looking for a particular scrap item. Now these are foam sheets that don't have adhesive on them, so I like them, first of all, because they're pretty and they're rainbow. But I can also put two-way stick tape adhesive. I have a big roll from Scrapbook that I could put on the back of that and kind of convert those into this sort of foam. I have some inexpensive, heavyweight, white core cardstock that I got pretty early on. This is inexpensive, lightweight. I actually kind of just sectioned them off in these little page protectors just to kind of keep it from getting messy. But a rainbow smattering of those, this random craft, and then my neutrals and my black cardstock. Here I have Future, A Colorful Life Designs Goodness. I have all of my thin strips, or my sentiment strips from Tailored Expressions in their little respective boxes. Here I have, not card related, but I have, well, I guess it is. Some of y'all use embroidery for your cards, but I have embroidery floss, stuff to make little, you know, headbands or things like that. And then in here, this is all for gifts. I love giving away gifts, so I have cute little containers and things like that. So my daughter and I, my daughter's just like me, she's always trying to give her friends little gifts. So this is a nice quick way to get to little cute containers to put whatever we're giving our friends in. This here, just take this down. This may or may not stay this way, but I have these plastic containers holding all of my alcohol inks. So what I'd likely do in this case is what I do now, which is just take this whole shebang out and bring it to my desk because I don't know what color inks I'm going to use. So I just kind of got all the tools and everything in there right now. Now over here, you guys probably recognize the magical chocolate box. This is where I have all of my card panels that have not been turned into a card yet. I have a box here with some finished cards that I kind of designated for certain special occasions. I have felt. This is my Arteza water brush pens, my Arteza colored pencils, and some colored pencil implements. I have like little tools and things like that. I have some Gamsol there. And then I also have another die cutter in the back there, my old Cuttlebug. Up here, I just purchased some of the boxes from Ikea. I debated, and I may still at some point add another 1x4 calyx on top of this. But in the meantime, I felt like it was a bit of wasted space. So I bought these inexpensive boxes from Ikea. And right now, I actually have a couple of them just random storage containers that I didn't need anymore, that I didn't want to part with because I'm sure I'll need them for something in my house. And then I know one of them has giveaway stuff for people or gifts, things like that. And then I believe the last one is actually empty at this point. So I am deliberately leaving myself room to grow and having places to add future crafty items. Now down below here, these are other options. So this whole calyx unit just comes with the cubbies, but you can get these options with 2 drawers. You can get a door for privacy. You can get the split option here, and the, you know, vertical. You could turn it vertical or horizontal for your paper. In this, because it's not very pretty, I just have various different glues and things like that. I have duct tapes. It's kind of the attachment section. This is all Christmas stuff. So seasonal, I don't need to get to it all the time. These are all, you know, Christmas stamps, Christmas colored cardstock, or Christmas pattern paper, I should say. In here, it's just a little bit of a drawer of foam that could hold more stuff. This is random papers, glossy black paper. This is my glue sticks, or not glue sticks, glue guns and glue sticks. This is buttons. Buttons. Who's got the button? I have 50,000. Here I have, this is kind of fun. This is probably more from when my daughter was younger, but we do still tap into it. This is more like kids sort of stuff, like pipe cleaners and felt scraps and perler beads. So this is kind of like kid zone there. This is all yarn goodies. So if you want to make some pom-poms, I'm your girl. You got some stuff for knitting with a loom, because I don't know how to knit for real. And then some tulle and things like that. And then finally, over here, look at this. This is my pattern paper. This and this. This is all I have left. I've managed to give away a ton of it to people that will actually hopefully use it. So I have this bin here with all these 6x6 pads. Super satisfying. a little bit bigger, like 8x8 pads. And then these are all just either random pieces or little booklets. And again, the same thing. Created a folder with scraps, and I am actually using it. So this is working very well. I got rid of a bunch of it, which I feel really good about. And this space is working well so far. Guys, this I am so excited about. This is actually a fabric vinyl wall decal. I wanted something in this space that was directly across from me that I would see when I was creating that would inspire me. I wanted something bright and beautiful that kind of went with the electric purple and teals that I kind of wanted to incorporate into my space. And I love watercolor like this. It's so beautiful. So I started searching on Etsy for a product like this, and I came upon this company, Moto Moms. And this chick is hilarious. I absolutely love her. Her instructions for applying this to the wall had both my husband and I in stitches. She's really funny. It's a small family operated business in the US, in Indiana. There's so many different options and styles that are great for around your home, for nurseries, all sorts of awesome designs. So if you come close on it here, you can see it actually looks painted when you stand back, but if you come up close, it's got a little bit of a soft fabric texture to it. It is reusable. This type is. The regular vinyl type, you'd probably have a harder time. Now, bear in mind, this is huge, so it may be a little bit difficult. You'd have to be careful. But if I needed to peel it back, you know, and kind of adhere it back down, I would be able to do that, and it's not going to damage my wall. So I reached out to her and let her know that I was going to be doing this and promoting her. So I hope if you guys want something like this in your space that you check her out. I will link her below, her shop on Etsy. And be sure to let her know that Amy's Wares sent you, because I hope you guys will check her out. She has loads of fun designs for your space. And you may have actually noticed throughout my room some other little smaller designs like this. Those were actually the samples that I ordered from her to make sure that it was going to be the right design for my space. And I didn't want those to go to waste, so I kind of fussy cut around them and utilized them throughout my room just because they were too pretty to not use. So that's not their intended purpose. Obviously, their purpose is just to make sure that it works in your space and that the colors are what you expect, and to help you decide if you want the fabric or the vinyl option. But I can't say enough about this company. So definitely check them out if you're in the market for something like this. Now, to the left, I have a couple of Ikea shelves. I created that art on the top right with some alcohol ink and the colors that I wanted to use in my space, and that's some custom art from my daughter, also using those colors. I have some cards on my shelf here on display just for some inspiration. And then down below, this is actually my Distress Oxide storage. I bit the bullet and finally purchased all of these oxides because I do have this full collection here. I can't remember the name of the company right off the top of my head. I think it's Organize More is where this is from. I will link whatever I can in the video description box below. If I miss something, feel free to let me know or ask questions, but I will do my absolute best to link as much as I can if there's any of these items that you're interested in. So I did create the little labels for these so I could see them from the side, but these are all Distress Oxides. You guys probably know I use the Distress inks in the minis, and then the oxides obviously are only available in the full size. But down here below, I have some other ink pads like my Electropop. I did actually put, you can see here, got a little clever. I put some little brown cardstock in here just to keep it from falling all the way to the back. So I just kind of crumpled that up, and then that allows them to stay kind of up in the front. And I have some various other inks here. So I love this whole space with the wall decal and all the color of the ink pads. It very much so makes me happy. Now, this amazing desk was actually created several years ago by my hubby. I'm very lucky. I put this beautiful decal on the top surface in a couple spots with some paint and then stained over it. It has many drawers. You can see here it actually has a space for my serger, which I don't use very often, and you'll see on the other side I actually have a space for my sewing machine. So this was originally going to be kind of a little pull-out drawer for ribbons and stuff, but as he was constructing it, it was a bit of a pain. And then I realized it actually ended up a really good space for like this big cutting mat or my long Cricut mats or big paper pads and things like that. So it actually ended up being a bit of a happy, not planned situation. Now in here, I won't get into all these drawers. This is a lot of storage for our polymer clay my daughter and I use. I have different polymer clay tools and things like that. We've been making jewelry, and she makes little statues and things like that. So most of these drawers are either just sewing stuff or polymer clay, so I won't take your time with that. On the top here, you can kind of see my setup. This is my daughter's side. She sits in this chair and she has my old tonic mat, which still works great. I have my Cricut. I have this little rolly thing or spinny thing that has a bunch of things that I need to grab for. I have my Make It by Marco glue stand and my stamp chamois holder, various little tapes and things like that that I have to grab for. This is actually a little desktop vacuum thing. Jury's not out on how well it works, but it's a nice concept. Over here, you can see I have my actual beloved GlassBoard Studios glass mat. This is my baby right here. I love this thing. Got all these magnets. So this is the work surface that you see me working on. And here you can see this is actually what I record with. So I do not have crazy equipment. I just use my phone, and I use this arm which will telescope down over my work surface. So this is all it is. And then my light in my craft room, I don't have any additional lighting when I'm filming. I keep it pretty simple. I actually had a photography business for over 8 years. I have a lot of the equipment. I have lighting, I have DSLR cameras, but I just don't want to take the time. I want to spend the time creating. So I may upgrade and get fancier as it goes, but for the time being, this has kind of worked out really well for me. So now coming in, you can see this beautiful, sorry for all these cords, you can see this beautiful stenciling that I put on. Again, I just kind of stained over it. I painted it white initially. I believe we stained over it. And then here's my sewing machine down here. And then in these drawers, probably won't show them all to you, but I did make a decision to change this all to things that I use regularly. So this is my embossing drawer. It's not the neatest, but it's my embossing. Sorry, the drawers are a little sticky. I have my, go-to ink pads. I have my acrylic blocks. So things that I needed, that I was constantly reaching for before, I made the conscious decision to put them right next to me. And that's the best advice I could give you, is just really think about what you need in your space. This is all adhesives, various different two-way adhesives, my Post-it tape, my little thin foam strips, all that stuff. So this is definitely a must-have right next to me. So this is my card bases and my panels that I'm, again, constantly reaching for. And then this, all my Catherine Pooler mini ink pads. So I may end up switching this up because it's still a little cumbersome to flip through, but I like to keep them stored in these collections that she used to sell them in. Now she sells them all individually. You might be able to still get some of these in these groupings, but they're going fast. So if you want them, be sure to get them while you can. Otherwise, you can buy them now individually, and you can buy the containers for them. My husband told me I had to show you my wobble chair. So I have a little bit of a different chair than my daughter. I'm usually kind of standing here and leaning on it. This is usually how I'm crafting. So I might sit on it, I adjust it. I launch myself off it sometimes, I'm not going to lie, but it's kind of nice. It's supposed to help with posture, which clearly I'm still struggling with, but I like it. It works for this space. Okay, this is another few banks of Alex drawers. You can get these longer, or these taller, skinnier ones, and the center unit on casters. This is actually a desk that I purchased. I will try and explain in the video description box, if any of you are interested in getting this sort of furniture, what we encountered, because you do need to make a slight modification with this desktop if you want to be able to fit this sort of Alex in between. But I won't spend too much time explaining that. I'll just try and explain it in the video description box below. But above here on this space, you can see this is kind of my shipping area and my snacks that sadly now my husband is going to realize are there and he's probably going to dig into. But I have some washi tape, I have my stamps, envelopes, my scale here to weigh my cards, things like that. My Spellbinders Platinum 6, which I need to replace because this one, the handle is actually broken and it's a little worse for wear. I have my big Tonic Studios paper trimmer. I created this magnet situation, but stay tuned on that. I might have something more exciting to share regarding that in the future. I'll keep you posted. This is just kind of things that I grab for often. My pixie spray, my little shimmer spray, water, alcohol, things like that. Some cute ribbon. This is what I was saying. This was another sample that I kind of fussy cut because I didn't want it to go to waste. Now, to show you all the goodies in these drawers. Again, I've left myself some space to kind of grow into, but I kind of deliberately wanted this gap here because I was able to store things like that. I have my ink pad stands. I think Brianna Loveland. I always mess up her name. Anyway, I'll link that below. She's on Etsy. I have an extra Cricut paper trimmer here. I have my score pal. I have a little cutting pad, things like that. So things that are flat, why not utilize the space? Now, I'll show you what's in all these drawers. To start, I have my washi tape. This is so satisfying for me. I have some punches, my regular punches, things like that. Moving on down, I have a bunch of these metallic gilding polishes and the little gels that I have. These may be dried up. I should probably check on them, but that sort of medium. And here is kind of a hodgepodge. So this is kind of a catch-all with various different little craft items. My perfect pearls, some twine, have some glitter in the bottom, these paper flowers, extra blingage. So this is just kind of a catch-all. Now these two, I believe, oh no, not this one. This is my kind of blending area. So like blending handles. Ardith gave me a bunch of these. Thank you, Ardith. Extra, blending foams, things like that. My press and seal aluminum foil. And then this one is empty. Actually, I'll move on to this next. I have these wider drawers. I have a smaller paper trimmer here and my couple gel presses, which I need to play with more often. This is all watercolor or something like it. I do have some pastels in here and some watercolor pencils, and then also these, I forgot what they're called. Oh, the watercolor pencils from Distress line. Lots of different watercolors here, some brushes. Then this is all paper pads. So I did have them in that open space in my desk, but I decided to utilize these long flat drawers. I felt it suited this sort of storage. So watercolor pads, my Bristol Smooth. This is, so satisfying. Okay, again, these are, I can't remember if it's organized more. It's terrible. Just ordered them from them too. Anyway, I'll link them below, but these are perfect for mini ink pads. Like I told you, I have only the mini ink pads for Distress Ink and for Catherine Pooler, just for storage, but I also have a bunch of my favorite things. I have Concord and Ninth. These Memento ones were actually the first ones that I collected when I first started card making, so I have those. Different stamp positioners, things like that. I have the big Mama 12-inch Misty. I have my envelope inch board, and then this is all foil. So my often neglected foil. I have a million colors of foil, the different foil mediums like Blanco and Duo and all those things. So various little tools like the Deco Foil adhesive, all that stuff. Now, we're nearly done, folks. We're nearly done. This is one of my most satisfying drawers. These are actually spice racks. So I got this idea from Christina Werner in all her geniusness. These kind of just display everything beautifully. Now, as to not shift around, I did grab some of that dollar store grippy stuff that you put in like tool drawers and things like that, and it keeps these from shifting around. So these are all sprays, and I have some Distress Ink re-inkers. I don't have very many of those, as you can see. Same sort of concept here. All of my delicious Nouveau shimmer powders that you guys know I love. They're all on pride of place, beautiful display here. I love it. And this is all my Catherine Pooler inkers. This is what I was telling you. I actually bought extras because I'm going to keep buying them when she puts out colors. But you can buy these empty containers, full size or 4-pack. And then these are all the re-inkers for Catherine Pooler. I just buy them when I buy the ink pads, and then I don't have to worry about it. These are some liquid watercolors. This is just a little swatch that might end up having a new home. And then these 2 drawers are empty. I left myself some room. So that's it, guys. That's basically it. This is my space. I'm very happy with it so far. Oh, one more thing to show you. This was my daughter's idea. I think it's adorable. So I cut this out on my Cricut, put it on the door, and it's quite apt. So thanks for checking this out. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for taking a look at my new craft space. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the thumbs up and consider subscribing if you haven't already. I will link whatever I can in the video description box below. If I missed anything, which I'm sure I will, be sure to leave me a comment and I'll be sure to include that. I recognize how fortunate I am to have such an incredible space, so full of crafty goodies. So I'm very blessed to be able to do this for work and just to have such an inspiring space. So thank you so much for spending time with me today. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll catch you next time. Bye. Off with a pan through the room to give you an idea of what it looks like, and then I'm going to go to all the specific areas and let you poke around in my drawers, so to speak. That didn't sound right.